We are here with Chef Michael. And Michael, I know that you're working hard right now doing some prep work. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and how you found SWAT Fitness.
SWAT Fitness, I was introduced by some lovely people at Allen's Organics. I'm so happy to make your acquaintance, because you all guys are top in fitness in Tucson. My background experience, I've been in the business since I was knee-high to a countertop. There's been everything from work with cruise lines, to Brinker, to Fortune 500 companies, consulting, product development, as well as working with the White House twice. And now I'm working with what's called Chefs Move to Schools, and we're trying to make food better for school children, but great tasting and healthful and fast.
Oh, that's great.
It's fantastic. It's wonderful. Now we're cutting up vegetables. We're going to make a roasted fruit cocktail. Rockin' roasted fruit cocktail.
Awesome.
So we can keep everybody on paleo, but give them lots of flavor and lots of variety. We're also going to we're going to talk to them about cooking ahead and preparing things ahead, so they don't have to chop and chop every day.
That's great.
And that's where we're at right now.
Yeah. Now I understand that you're fairly new to paleo, based on your research, and if you can talk and do this
Look
at the same
at my
time.
stomach. Here's the testimonial for paleo right now. I've been on paleo about a week. I've already lost 3 pounds and I think at least 2 inches on my waistline. So I'm very happy with it. I have more energy, a lot of variety. I'm really surprised at the variety actually, and with my little tricks and tips about flavor and condiments that I've added that are within the paleo guidelines, obviously.
Yeah.
It's been fantastic, and I'm really excited. And can you tell I have a little bit of energy? And this is without caffeine. So paleo is wonderful. I'm really excited about it, and really excited to be working with SWAT Fitness in this regards. Now we're cutting pears with this big knife that Ron gave me.
And we got these pears and
these are
like
from
pineapple.
Yeah, these are from. This is all from Allen's Organics, because obviously you do want to do organic, but we also want to talk about what we're doing here is we're forming, a cooperative of businesses to where we're all helping each other.
Right.
So we provide clients obviously for Allen's Produce, and they get really good organic produce. The clients of SWAT Fitness, and then Chef Michael shows how to make it.
That's excellent.
See, what I'm doing is I'm cutting these into pieces, but chunks big enough to where I can put them in a very hot oven. I'm going to put this in a 450 degree oven, and we're just going to caramelize the fruit. We're not going to cook it all the way. So you still have the live enzymes, which you need for digestion and everything else that you do in your body, but you also have the natural sugars in the fruit that are going to caramelize. So it kicks, as somebody else used to say, it kicks up the flavor a couple notches. And it also gives it a little more palatable. One of the things, there's 3 elements that you have in cooking, and you can do this on paleo. You have cooking techniques, herbs and spices, and condiments. Those are the 3 pinnacles of flavor in any kind of cooking. And when you apply those to paleo, it gives you a whole nother level of variety. Now I'm really into my shtick. But if you notice, I'm cutting them about 1 inch. Now obviously it's not perfect, but I want them big enough so they won't obliterate when I put them in that hot oven.
That's delicious. That looks like a good apple. What kind of apples are these?
These are delicious apples, and then we have Granny Smiths, but they're organic, so they look a little different. And they're absolutely wonderful, as you can see.
Yep.
Just a beautiful item. The thing I like about organic most is the plants become very strong. And they're obviously, they say, there's schools that say yes, but I totally believe that the nutrition is higher because the ground is obviously more fertile. Yeah. What we're doing is we're making, one of the things we're trying to do, and Ron was so nice enough to go to the store and get beautiful boneless skinless chicken breast. We're going to teach people about paleo that you can cook your protein ahead of time. So what we're going to do is we're going to cook the protein ahead of time. We're going to cook the chicken ahead of time. We're going to season it. And then we're going to cool it off in the freezer. Now you have to let it sit out for about 10 minutes when it's cooked. And you want to cook it to about 150, 155. Don't cook it to 160 degrees because there's something that's called carryover cooking that'll bring it up to that rest temp. If you cook it to 160 degrees as recommended, it's going to go to 170 and you're going to have balsa wood.
Oh, well that's a good tip actually.
Well, Chef Michael and I met last week through, of course, Renee Allen from Allen's Organic Produce. And we had a nice long conversation at her Christmas party, and we talked about everything that we would like to do, and we met and we talked. And so today is our first demo. I went to the store to pick up boneless, skinless chicken breast that we're going to prepare here, along with our fruit salad.
So it sounds like another great benefit for SWAT clients that not only they get fitness,
they also get nutrition, and they learn how to cook really, really well, because Chef Michael, he rocks.
Creel's right here, okay. Right there. What we're also going to do is we're going to have a line of private label seasonings for SWAT Fitness, and this happens to be a sample. This is called Creole and Cajun Party. And whatever Jenna and
maybe we'll have a little contest to name the seasonings.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What's great about these is they're low in sodium, and they actually, watch this, they stick right to the product.
Wow.
With no oil or anything else on there. Excellent.
So you're getting a good value as well as flavor. What I'm going to do right now is I'm searing the chicken breasts on high heat. And what I did was I washed them and I patted them dry. Now, I don't want to overload the pan, so I'm going to put 3 in one pan, 3 in the other. And as you can see, we're using a non-stick and a stainless. You can use either or. And then we're going to finish them in the oven, because they cook more evenly because it heats all the way around. I've got the oven on 450 because I'm also going to caramelize the fruit in there.
And when it comes to pans, do you have a preference?
I do.
What do you recommend if somebody is just starting from scratch and money is no object? Where do they go? What do they buy?
I would get a pan just like this, because now you're on my Shop NBC stick. You have 1810 stainless steel. High side. This is what's called the SWAT. You also have a copper bonding, and then the stainless steel plate on top of that. And what that does is it makes really even heat. And also I can put them in the oven. I like the non-sticks, but they don't last as long because of the coating. And the coatings vary. There's Silverstone, which lasts a little longer. But once again, then you're talking about aluminum. And aluminum is not as good a heat conductor as steel and stainless steel. It's a much more even heating. And also the life of the pan is longer. So you pay a little bit more for this pan, but you have it for a lifetime if you take care of it.
That's great.
And most of
stainless steel?
This particular pan is stainless steel. You can get a lot of stainless steel pans, but like I said, you want a copper bond, ultimate. A rolled steel plate is on top of that, and then there's 1810 surgical stainless steel.
That's excellent.
It is.
See, what we're doing is we're searing the outside of the chicken. Now, you see from the stainless steel, it's got a nice even browning all the way across. All the way across. And the same thing with the... You hear it?
Man, that looks better than a lot of meals I've eaten already.
So what we're doing is we're searing the chicken breast on both sides because we want to lock in the juices. You have to sear it on high heat. Right. Then what we're going to do is, you could do 2 things. You could do it on top of the stove, which is called poêlée.
What's it called?
In French, poêlée.
Poêlée.
Poêlée. With a P. And what that basically is you're making an oven on top of the stove. You actually put a lid on top of here, you turn it all the way down, and you're actually making an oven on top of the stove. So since we have this beautiful stainless steel oven, we will just put it in the oven. Now this is heat proof, yeah?
I don't know about that, Chef.
Okay. Feels like it is. Okay, we'll find out.
We'll find out if it's not.
Okay, so now we've seared them up both sides. What I'm going to do, I'm going to finish them. Is there anything in here? I'm going to finish them in the oven. Then we're going to do our fruit at the same time.
That's great. What kind of temperature is that chicken?
The oven's at 450 right now, so I'm going to watch it. And I'm doing what's called pushing it. I would probably recommend 375, 400 if you're cooking it. What I'm doing right now is it's called pushing it. I'm going to watch it, but I wouldn't recommend it because if you walk away, it's going to burn.
Yeah.
Okay, especially now because I caramelized the juices in the chicken, and you're going to get a beautiful, nice crust on the outside and very nice, moist chicken on the inside. Aren't you just salivating right now?
That I am.
The nice thing is, that's 2 steps and not 5.
Yeah.
And somebody that really relies on the microwave. Actually, the idea of cooking in the oven and on the stovetop is kind of appealing, if you know how.
And that's funny because what we want to do is we want to teach everybody that does paleo and all the clients of SWAT Fitness how to cook smart, not hard.
Ah, yes.
And that's good.
And this is actually based on what's called classical cooking, which is very old. It's every style of cooking, whether it be Chinese, French, American regional, it also always has a classic style, and this is one of the classic cooking techniques that I would teach my students. I was also an instructor at the first Cordon Bleu in the United States.
Wow.
But I'm giving you the art of simplicity here,
Wow.
not the real complicated stuff. Because cooking doesn't have to be complicated, it just has to be good.
Ah,
right.
yes.
Can we get that on a card, please?
Yes.
So Ron, tell us a little bit about what it was specifically about Chef Michael that you liked and why you wanted to get him involved with SWAT Fitness and our clients.
First thing, military man. That's the first thing. Former Marine, military man, just like I am. So that means we're brotherhoods of the military. That's the first thing. But second thing is his personality and the fact that he's an expert chef. And it all, goes hand in hand. His personality and the way he talks to the students and the clients about what he's going to do. It's really easy. It's really laid back. And it's really not that difficult because I've been here for a few seconds.
Makes
I've learned so
coaching
much.
very approachable. I'm like ready to cut up some fruit and see some of this stuff done myself.
You can do that tomorrow.
I will wait until you're gone and do it in private.
Oh, what's really,
just in case.
Yeah, what's really important about all of this is that all you folks can do this yourselves. You actually look at me and watch me do it, and you can see there's no hidden mirrors, there's no smoke, there's no man behind the curtain. We're just right here, and we're just doing really good food very simply. And what I want to do is teach you some easy, quick steps that you can incorporate into the paleo lifestyle and make it much easier for you. Not that it's not already easy. Make it much easier for you. Also, another thing regarding instruction, I've appeared on television over 200 times, been in every major network, and I just love to teach. So that's really, and it's really exciting. I mean, one of my aspirations in life is to help people eat better so they can live better. I started doing that in 1988.
Wow.
Had a nationally syndicated radio program called The Food Show in the 90s. Did some work for the White House and helping President Clinton to eat better. I'm sorry, I'm laughing. Kind of convert some of his more heavy items. One of the things that we just did with one of the local schools is we did amazing chili cheese-less burgers, which are less than 400 calories, and they sound really delicious.
They do. They really do.
It was actually based on a burger that the president ate. It was about 1,400 calories. So one of the things that we have to do at SWAT Fitness is to aspire to help people keep their comfort foods, but obviously through the paleo way.
And I think even though the paleo is really easy and we say it's, meat, fruits, and vegetables, it gets boring. And yeah, sorry to say that, folks, but it can be a little boring. So the secrets of
what
this
we're going to
trade.
teach you, we're going to get you some seasonings. We're going to teach you how to make some fresh and easy condiments. And then we're going to teach you to mix and match just like Legos, to where you're going to have an infinite variety of combinations and flavors at your fingertips at all times.
That's great. I mean, for people that have been on the paleo for a really, really long time, the idea of a side dish is like a real treat.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things, nice thing about this fruit that we're making, this rockin' roastin' fruit cocktail, you can use it in a variety of ways.
Crocktail is paleo.
Crocktail is good, and we can use it in lettuce wraps. We can add it to a fresh fruit smoothie and blend it, so you have a whole added flavor for a profile to a smoothie.
So just so much more variety than what we think of. I think that's what's very exciting.
It's endless, and that's one of the things that I tell people when they want to eat better. They immediately recoil, and they say, "Oh, well, that's not going to have a lot of flavor." I always have a lot of flavor. I mean, we're talking about international flavors with the new seasonings that we're going to private label through SWAT, and we're talking about condiments that are used the world over. One of the things that I did when I studied international cuisine was I said, what are the common elements in every cuisine on earth? The common elements are spice blends, cooking techniques, and condiments. But each continent and each culture has their own specific one. I wanted to bring that to America and teach people at home how to have a variety of flavor, almost an unlimited amount of flavor, and still eat well. Because that's one of the things that's missing in normal, not SWAT fitness. Paleo is, once again, Jenna said it, it's variety.
Yeah.
And you get into a particular set. But what I did was I came up with a formula. I started in 1988 and worked on it about 6 years, to where it's like Legos. And when you go in the refrigerator, you have a base set of ingredients, but then you have the condiments. You learn your cooking techniques, which are very basic, and then you have your spice blends, and then you start mixing and matching to match some comfort foods that you used to have. And then you say to myself, look at me, I'm just making all these different flavors and all these different combinations, because it's almost infinite. But you have to have a base set of what I say Legos.
Yeah, exactly. And I love the
base
idea
that
of
on.
Legos. That sounds like something I could do.
I cut this whole thing of fruit. Now what we can do is you can put a little lemon juice on this, toss this with a little tiny bit of oil, and this whole bowl of fruit you can have for 4 days. It'll keep about 3 to 4 days. So then you come in and you can do it a variety of ways. You can sear it like we're going to do. You can eat it plain. You can add yogurt to it. You can add a variety of different paleo items. You can mix this with proteins, because you can make a sweet and a savory. That's one of my favorite combinations, by the way, with paleo, is sweet and savory. I like to mix the fruit. I like to cook the fruit. I took a pear the other day and I just seared it real quick on the other side, and I ate it almost like it with a steak with my chicken. It was fab. But we put the Moroccan on the outside of that pear and sear it again. Then you have Moroccan flavoring with the sweet, and it's kind of a hot and sweet thing going on. And then you have your because you want to, I don't want to say fool. You want to trick. I don't want to say trick. You want to train your body to know that it has different flavors. So you have a certain level of expectation when you go in the kitchen. You say, hey, I'm going to have some variety, and I really have unlimited choices.
Yep.
And we want to get SWAT Fitness folks to be so excited about cooking and eating that they say, oh my God, I can hardly wait to get home to eat my paleo because I have so much variety.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're going to check our chicken breasts, which I think need to be turned.
And did the handle melt? Nope.
No, it's good. It's got the oven-proof handles. They have a little rough texture on the outside of them. That's how you usually can tell. See this little rough texture?
Yeah.
It usually tells you that it's an oven-proof handle. I've done so many cooking demonstrations on television for manufacturers of cooking equipment, and I actually spec'd a line of cooking equipment for Chef NBC. It's called the Culinary Collection. 3 o'clock in the morning, you got to have something fun to roll off your tongue.
That looks good.
And of course, the paleo will help me in videos and be so full of energy. Now, as you can see, we're getting a nice caramelization on the outside, but it's not overdone. I'm poking with my finger. Don't do that. What you really want to do is take a meat thermometer, make sure that it's properly
Calibrated?
calibrated.
Oh, good word.
I see paleo juice is starting to run out. So, anyway, what you can do is just take the thermometer and stick it in a glass of ice water. And you're going to get 32, 33 degrees. That's how you gauge it. Then you know that it's set. Right. And obviously you can turn it on top usually to recalibrate it. Because if you drop it, it's going to be off about 5 or 6 degrees. So anyhow, you check meat. Okay, it's very simple. This is rare in the middle of the big meaty part of your hand. Rare, medium, as you back out, well done.
Really? So when I see Chef Ramsay and he's touching it saying, feel
That's
this,
what
it's
he's doing.
raw.
That's what he's doing.
Really?
He knows. Well, I mean, we do it for the average person. Use your you go back and forth. You like feel the meat and then stick your finger in your hand.
So
Make sure your hands are clean.
This is rare.
Okay.
That's what rare feels like. That's medium, and then well done as you get back into the heavy part of the muscle. It's hysterical, but it works.
Interesting.
Now, obviously, we want to use the thermometer to make sure we have the correct temperature.
Of course,
Yes.
of course. None of us are Chef Ramsay, that's for sure.
Okay.
All right, so we're back on the stovetop. We're now checking the temperature of the chicken.
Yes, and
Just
we're
took
at,
that little temperature,
I think we're going to
stuck it
make
right in the meaty
155.
part, huh?
That's correct. I wanted 150, 155. We're at about 155, which is perfect.
Cool.
Okay. And we should be good all the way around. I'm going to check the other one. I'm going into the meatiest part. That's where you want to check the temperature, and I'm putting it in sideways to get to the meatiest part. Okay, and then I'll just let it sit. And we'll see what we got. We have going up. But that'll give you the best check. Is the meatiest part. We're up at about. That one needs to go a little longer. See, look at that. Paleo. What I would like you to do is be able to cook your proteins ahead of time. So what we've done is we've let that rest a few minutes, and what we're going to do is we're going to take this and transfer it to a plate Then we're going to put it in the freezer for as long as we have before we have to go to the demo. Actually, you want to set a kitchen timer. This is very important. You want to bring the temperature down as fast as possible. That's why we're using the freezer. In commercial food service, we have what's called blast chillers, which are specifically designed to bring the temperature down very quickly.
Yep.
But as long as you don't overload your freezer, you can put it on a plate and you can bring the temperature down very quickly. Now what that does is a minimal amount of bacteria accumulation on the outside. It makes the food taste much better the next day when you eat it.
Really?
You can also reheat it, absolutely. Because when you let it sit, the bacteria accumulates and it has that little, you know, that day-old flavor.
Yeah.
But when you cool the proteins off like this, you get another day and you get a really nice, fresh, crisp flavor with the proteins.
Oh,
okay?
great.
So now what we're going to do is we're going to take these, transfer them to a plate. Demo.
Perfect.
Use that for a beauty plate. I'm going to grab this with my hands. I washed my hands about an hour ago, so I should be good. So now what we're going to do, and don't get them too close, okay? You're going to take this and you're going to put this in the refrigerator for about 25 minutes in the freezer. You want to make sure the temperature comes all the way down. And then what you do is you're going to put it in a Ziploc bag, put it in the refrigerator, or a reusable container is better for the environment, obviously. Then you're going to have your protein ready, and we're going to use this tonight, for example, in stir fry. But we could use this in mock fajitas with lettuce wraps. We could use this mixed with vegetables. We can use this mixed with fruit for a savory, a sweet and savory going on. You have the protein; it's already made. So this way, you don't have to make a protein every single night when you come home. You're exhausted. All you have to do is assemble the meal, heat it up, and eat it. But also, you can eat the chicken breast cold with a salad. So it's multifunctional. That's what we want to teach you while we're doing these cooking classes and videos. Now we're looking to see, we're trying to caramelize this fruit. I've got a little too much in the pan. What I'm going to do, oh, you can see it's getting a little brown on the outside, a little brown on the top.
Oh yeah, it's delicious.
Okay? And what we're going to do is I'm actually going to crank this oven up. These are done. Don't do that at home. Bake. I'm going to actually turn this up to 500. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm transferring this to a plate because I wanted to let it cool off. And do the same thing we did with the proteins. We're going to cool this off in the freezer. Okay? But as you can see, we have some caramelization on the outside, but we still have the integrity of the vegetable. We have the nice shape to the vegetable. So you're going to retain your texture. At the same time, you're going to have a little bit of the live enzymes because we haven't cooked it all the way. But look at the bright colors. Look how beautiful everything looks.
Yeah, nothing looks mushy.
And it's not mushy. We overcooked just some of the smaller pieces. But you know what? It's going to be really delicious. And when you put it in an ice cream container, like we're going to do, or a martini glass, it looks kind of special as well. Also, we're going to dust it with a little cinnamon because we want to make sure that our homeostasis doesn't go into a tailspin. Then we're going to put a little yogurt on top, a little fresh mint, and a little lemon rind, and that'll give it a really nice flavor for the folks.
Fantastic.
Okay, now we're going to take this and transfer this because I'm running out of time. I'm going to put the same thing we did with the protein, and we're going to switch it. I'm going to take the protein out, which I think has been there for about 15 minutes. Ron's been timing it. And I'm going to put that up there. Now, as you can see, it's sort of like a production, and it works hand in hand. So while you're doing your fruit, you're cooling your protein. Now you're going to cool your fruit. And once again, you take that, you cool it off, you put it in a Ziploc bag or a reusable container, and you have it for a myriad of items. So now we have your yams, we have your fruit, and we have protein. So we made 3 things in what, about 25 minutes, including the cutting.
Wow. And
you have a variety of, and a myriad of combinations that you can do. Now what we're going to do with these yams is we're going to cut them open. We're going to make a stir fry with carrots, onions, and celery, and we're going to put it inside. And we're going to call it confetti stir fry with yams.
Fantastic.
Creole flavor.